didn't win! The outcast cheated!
An outcast? Win the proving? Never.
This is going to be a review for Horizon Zero Dawn. Now, I said I wasn't going to do a review because I was enjoying the game, and I actually beat the game and completed it 100%. And I felt like I should do a review just to let people know my thoughts on this and give people a full breakdown of this game due to the fact that, in my personal opinion, it was a masterpiece. So let's get into this review and let's break it down. Story. Without spoilers, the story of Horizon Zero Dawn pretty much takes place in the future. You are somebody looking to find out the mysteries of why you were born and why you are outcast to the NORAD tribe that you are raised around. Now, this game has you traveling all over the open world environment, getting clues, upgrading your weapons, and figuring out why there are so many robots and machines out there trying to destroy this planet. Now, you have to figure this out without any spoilers. You get a great adventure and you find out what's going on exactly to save mankind and find out the answers to where you came from and why you were born. Controls for Horizon Zero Dawn feel very familiar to anybody who's played a game similar to this. Now, there's no question some of the functions have been taken from other games or just pretty much feel the same. However, this goes back to what I said before. It's done correctly. The skill tree, the unlock system, the leveling up all adds to the functionality of the control system. So as you progress through the game, you start to learn other techniques and abilities that will add to everything that's going on. Everything is done right, from the way that you shoot the bow to the way that you do melee combat, long range, short range, medium range. All of the arsenal of weapons and various ammo types add to this game's functionality. Now, when it comes to the cliff climbing, this is definitely a disgusting feature. I feel like it's very clunky and I actually hate that. That's my only complaint about the controller. Sometimes I found myself not knowing what ledges to climb up because for some weird reason certain ledges are climbable whereas other ledges look the same way and they're not. And this is something that I feel like is done purposely to keep the game a little bit more difficult or to add to levels of the game, and it's not needed and it's frustrating and annoying at times. There's times when you're trying to get away from characters you do not mean to alert, or you're trying to play stealth and it just breaks the immersion of that and it just completely changes the play style from what you were trying to do to now this is what you have to do. And it's definitely something that I feel like they should have fixed before they released the game, or they should patch. Outside of that though, the controls are great. Now, for those of you who play remote play, you will have an issue with this game because there are touch pads, I believe, on the back of the PS Vita, and you do not have a L2, L1, R2, R1, and you will need that for this game. So it's definitely something where you'll feel awkward when you're using the back pads on the Vita for remote play. So just warning you guys, because I try to cover everything in a review, and I figured I'd let you guys know that that's something you may want to get the attachment for the Vita to use so it doesn't feel as bad. Now, outside of that though, the game is pretty good and amazing. Controls are not bad outside of that one issue. Everything's cool. But once again, that is a game breaking issue as far as the annoyance of it. Now, is this something that should make you not play the game or get the game? No, it's not that bad, but it will have you cringing and squeezing your controller from time to time because it really happens at times when you really need it not to. So with that being said, outside of that, controls are pretty good. Graphics. Oh, there's so much to talk about here. Now, I know you guys who are familiar with my channel know how much I love graphics, and this game is beautiful. It's not native 4K, but the 2160 checkerboard rendering technique that they used in this game is excellent. Now, I have noticed with 4K that on the PS4, it looks a little bit softer than it would on the PC, meaning that the images look bright, they look good, the HDR is wonderful, but it's just not as crisp as it would be on PC. Now, I know that's due to the different things like the fact that they don't use anti-alias and lighting and ambient occlusion, things of this nature, just little bells and whistles that you get on PC that you wouldn't get on console. However, all that aside, this game is the reason to own a PS4 Pro. Definitely. If you don't have one, don't worry. On the regular PS4, it still looks good, but this game just looks amazing on on PS4 Pro. I just can't say enough about it. Now, as far as the scale currently, because this changes due to updates to the PS4 Pro patches, you get to favor performance or favor resolution. Now, honestly, there's no real reason to favor performance in the game due to the fact that it's locked at 30 FPS and you get a difference of maybe 3 frames per second when you favor performance. So you might as well go all out and get the thrill. Now, as far as the HDR is concerned, this is a game that did it right. Some games have HDR and it's not noticeable or it's not something you would care about. But in Horizon Zero Dawn, it just works well. I was streaming the game and I took off the HDR for the streaming. Because I was streaming, I was entertained by the chat, so I didn't notice it. But when I came back to the game and I was just playing and it was me by myself, I kept saying, man, something looks off, something looks different. And then I remembered that I had the HDR off, and when I turned it back on, it was like, wow. So graphically, this game is amazing. Technologically speaking, it has everything you would want, and I just can't complain. Now, I would have loved to have seen this game running at 60 frames per second due to the fact that it was open world. There's a lot of movement, and when you have a lot of movement and action, you want that 60 frames minimum. But don't worry, it's not going to be a deal breaker. The game is still great and amazing at 30 frames, and I cannot complain. I mean, this is one of the best games I've seen ever on a console, literally. Overall, you don't always get this kind of game. You get a third-person open world action game, and you get them reinventing the wheel. And I'm going to reiterate something I said in another review. You don't always have to reinvent the wheel. You just have to get it right. And when it comes to gaming, getting it right is having fun. This game is extremely enjoyable. I had a lot of fun crafting items, picking up resources, developing my character, playing the side missions. This is why I'm giving this game so much praise. It was done correctly. Now, everyone in the gaming community knows that there are elements of other games in this game. You definitely feel like you're playing Tomb Raider when you slide down the rope. You definitely feel like you're playing Far Cry when you start plucking plants and crafting items from them, like healing items. You definitely feel like you're playing Assassin's Creed when you climb a tall building and you go to the ledge and you do a synchronization or read a memory. You definitely get that feel when you climb the tall next and you get the map and you get a layout of the area. But it's okay, because if you're gonna do something that was done already, this is the way to do it. So congratulations to Guerrilla Games for doing it right, and that's what it's all about. Now, as you guys know, I've been bringing back the review score for my review, and in the overall section, this is where I will be placing it. And out of 10, I'm gonna have to give this game a strong 8. It could have been a 9, but I don't want to push 9s out just because every game is good, because this game did have its flaws, like the dialect system. I really felt like I was being pulled out of the game when I was having conversations with some of the side characters. There was a lot of plot holes in some of the things that were happening. There were just things that I felt like the conversation brought to the game that shouldn't have been in the game, or made the game look a little bit cheap or cheesy due to the fact that they were telling you things and doing things that just kind of was like, you know, spoiling, or, you know, just taking from the immersion of what was going on. Everybody knew that certain characters were doing certain things except for the main protagonist making that character, and you feel like you were stupid. So at the end of the day, the game is far from perfect, but it's far from not good either. And it's definitely something I think you should be buying. If you have a PS4, this is the game to buy it for. This is the game that you will get the noticeable difference. Now, if you play it on a regular PS4 and it's not a Pro, it's okay because it still looks good. But if you have a Pro, this game should definitely be on your shelf. Do I recommend buying, renting, or skipping this game? I recommend this as a strong buy. This is a must buy if you have a PS4 Pro, and especially if you like third-person games and open world games. This game is definitely all of that. So subscribe to my channel if you are new. Hit the notification bell under my name if you haven't already, and let me know what you think in the comment section about this game, because I definitely enjoyed it and I feel like this is definitely a classic, and I would love to see a sequel to this game. I'm out of here. Peace.